play a good opponent. On Illinois side, I really like and respect Brett Bielema and what he's done there, but at some previous institutions. I really respect him in the way he does a lot for college football, being on committees, voice, advocating for the game, and so just like I say, got a ton of respect for him and really his team, his current team. Good defense, veteran quarterback, create some issues for you there, and so we know this is going to be a tough challenge that we're getting ready for. We practiced yesterday. Full goal, full pads, and I thought it was really spirited, good practice, and then we're into our normal game week prep starting again tomorrow, getting ready for this one. Excited about the opportunity this month. We got 3 in front of us, totally focused on Illinois here, and I know our guys are excited about what we got to play for. Bye week, we got a lot done recruiting-wise toward the end of the week. Got a chance to enjoy the hockey game Saturday night. Awesome win. Adam's got those guys going again. Best of luck to women's soccer in the NCAA tournament. I think we'll find out today where they're headed and who they're playing. And so a lot of good going on. And I think you had just Coach Izzo up here and big time game and just getting started with basketball, hockey, all of it. A lot going on that's great for Michigan State. With that, questions.
Hi. There were a few players who were injured against Indiana, Aiden being one of them, Aiden Childs, Malik Spencer, Charles Brantley, Anthony Jones. Do you have an injury update on them, and were they able to practice?
Aiden was able to go yesterday, so we feel pretty confident on him. We'll see what Chuck and Malik look like at the end of the week. Anthony Jones, I'm optimistic on him.
Hi, Jonathan. Talk about the elephant in the room, being eligible for a bowl. Talk about the symbolism behind that, and can you say that will equate to a successful season? And if not, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, obviously it's in front of us, and we want to achieve that. You want to win more than you lose, and so yeah, we're fighting this in particular week, preparing to get a win, and you only can win one at a time, and so that's why we got a lot to play for these last 3 games, and I know our guys understand it's not easy to win, but we have an opportunity in front of us to win more than we lose on the entirety of this season.
Hey, Jonathan. Did you guys do anything different over this last bye compared to the first one in terms of on-field? Yeah, I remember you guys did like the one midweek before and kind of went after it with full pads and stuff. Anything different there, or even in terms of like review or off-field stuff for coaches? Yeah,
not a ton different. I mean, we practiced about the same amount Wednesday, and again, like I said yesterday, both of those were fully padded, and so that approach wasn't different. Did take a look at the season, but the previous 3 weeks, because the last bye I think was after 6. Took a look at that. Similar in regards to recruiting, coaches are out into high schools and watching games Thursday and Friday, so pretty similar.
I'm wondering, you mentioned about the guys that got hurt in the Indiana game. Do you have any updates on Chance or Dylan, if they'll be back this year?
Doubtful, no real update, but doubtful for either of those two this year.
And I'm wondering about just how all these injuries, particularly in the secondary, have kind of impacted some of the things you wanted to do. Obviously, you've had a few guys here and there, and maybe what you've seen in some of the younger guys. Look like Denson and Brinson both kind of got some run. Yeah,
we like kind of where, Denson, Brinson, even Jalen Thompson. I'm thinking a lot about the quality reps they've gotten in practice because of, like you mentioned, some of those guys being down. I'm not the only one standing up here. I think about coaches across the country. You're dealing with maybe a particular position group, and this is a physical game, long season, and so not, it's not woe is me. We feel bad for those individual players that have missed some time or missed the season, but there's some bright side of it, like you mentioned, some of the opportunity for the younger player.
If you get to a bowl game with everything kind of reset again, maybe get those guys.
You mean like if you could just get more time for them to get back? Yeah. Are you talking about Dylan and?
Yeah, particularly Dylan.
I'd have to ask that question. A lot of our conversations have been really focused on the regular season.
Jonathan, after the Indiana loss, I guess where is your team's confidence during the bye week and just the ability, like you said, you got 3 more opportunities in front of you, and just coming off a loss like that, where do you see you guys at?
Yeah, I think that, like, again, their approach, they understand we got a lot to play for this month, and so I think they're excited about that. Have felt and really great, really pleased with the preparation, the work at practice from August on, and I continue to see it out there. Like I mentioned yesterday, was good, and we know we got to improve in some areas and do some things better in the games, and we're working to do that.
Coach, both bye weeks came off of consecutive losses. You just talked about the approach your team had, and you were proud of that. What were some of the differences you saw with this bye week?
I don't know about specific differences. I think these guys, again, handled the knowing that there's some things to work on. We showed them some tape on stuff from the previous 3 weeks to emphasize. Did mention, too, of getting away from it a little bit on Thursday and Friday. I know a few of them traveled, whether they were home, emphasis on school, right, getting close to the end of the semester. So I don't think there was dramatic differences from the previous bye week to this one.
Jonathan, to your right. One of the things you talked about before the season was wanting to play your best football in November, right? But you do. There are realities of being very young in the secondary and getting beat up, and I'm wondering how how those two things work in concert, and how you judge a team in November when it's maybe not entirely the same team as it was in September.
It's still a little bit of an approach. If we're going to be focused on a weekly process of, going through the week, preparing to play as well as we can on that particular Saturday. Well, the reality is November's toward the end of the season, so you've gone through that weekly process of kind of always trying to play your best on that particular Saturday. That is compounded over into November. Now we've gone through, call it 10 of them, those processes. And it's not just particular to the team of exact whatever production or stats. Each individual, if they've continued to work, start to finish, we're closer to the finish, they should be playing their best ball. And then you mentioned, well, okay, we're going to have some younger guys potentially out there. Well, they still should be playing their best, better than they were in September, in November. I'm not trying to get all deep on you. But I'm excited about this approach, and then again, it shows if we got individuals playing their best, I think that gives us the best chance to win in September, and then the games are the most meaningful in November.
Hi, Jonathan. Excuse me. Hi, Jonathan, in the middle right here. I'm curious, this is one of those rare games where both teams are coming off the bye week. There's a little bit of, I don't want to say an element of surprise, but there's some unknowns there. And I'm curious how, as a coach, you prepare for that when both teams are coming in recovered, refreshed, recharged?
I think we're aware because, they're coming off a bye. We are. It gives you a little bit more time to plan, maybe implement a new scheme or two. And so we're aware of that potential. What we prepare for is what we see on tape. We're not going to totally chase ghosts that they potentially could do this or that. You prepare for what they've got on tape and recognize that you might see a new wrinkle or two because they've had a little bit more time.
I'm drawing a blank here, Jonathan. I apologize. I don't know. I just lost it.
Oh, good.
I'll jump in while you think of it. I've been there. You're going into the home stretch now. Do you address with your team how important this is now to finish strong? I know it's one game at a time, but finishing strong will ultimately be the judgment day of this team. Do you address that at all here going in?
Well, we talk about wanting to be a program known for finishing. And then also reminding them that their approach it all of a sudden doesn't dramatically change. It's just recognizing the work they put in. A lot of them mid-season healthy, right? We're not feeling great to continue to push to finish. I go back to the preparation it takes during the week to have your best performance. And so we're really emphasizing practice, the importance of that. Also, they're handling a lot with school, with some, you want to finish well, and buzz and excitement about that, and there's some wear and tear, and so just managing all of that to make sure they're still excited about, getting out there and going, and I think they are.
Have you enjoyed being around this team? Do you like their approach every day, so to speak?
I have. I've enjoyed these guys, how, handling things, going through tough losses, tough wins, watching them, stick together, how they've, bonded as a team through this year. I've really enjoyed coaching them.
All right, I'm back. I apologize there. My my hands were writing one thing, my brain was going through another thing. I apologize. When we saw you guys come off a bye earlier in the season and show some big improvements, some steps in the next game out. Is there a couple areas you guys are looking at that feel like attainable within these last three that, hey, there's some ground we can make up here and it's doable within this sort of time slot?
Right. There's some areas I think about us offensively, trying to find some more consistency to finish, and we have not done it consistently this year. That's an opportunity in these 3 games to play better and really just score a little bit more. I think that'll help us. So that's an opportunity, and emphasizing that in this bye. I think in all 3 phases, right? We got some things to tighten up on the special teams end from our last performance, and that was an emphasis this week that we definitely want to perform better on special teams than we did last time out.
Try not to have a false start here. Jonathan, field goals, but still no touchdowns on the opening possession of a game and no sacks since October 22nd. What did you see her do during the bye week that might change that?
Yeah, we didn't make a huge emphasis on just the opening possession, but we do want to start with some scores and all that. We've had some success moving it, right? And so I think that's not just particular to the first possession, emphasizing on being able to finish. And again, these guys want to, these coaches we want to, and so we got to keep working at it, but also recognize not trying to put an added amount of pressure on ourselves at the same time. If you can move the ball between the 20s, having some confidence, then now we just got to go another 20 yards to try to put it in simple terms.
What about the sacks?
Yeah, again, I don't think we point blank said in the opening drive, I took the question. But no, we did emphasize, because we want to get to affect the passer, emphasize a little bit on the fundamentals of a 4-man pass rush, besides just feeling like the only way we can get there is blitzing.
Coach, with the redshirt rule, you can use 4 games and they still retain that. With 3 games left in the regular season, do you plan on using some of those younger guys a little bit more here?
Particular plan if they've earned it, and where we're at on the depth chart, we kind of mentioned the secondary earlier. Those guys, we want to be strategic. We've got a few guys that have maybe played in 2 or 3 games, and so finding where the sweet spot is for them, whether it's in one of these 3 or 2 of these 3. But it goes back to earning it and doing best for them at the same time, not going past 4 games, because we've got a few guys like that you want to be able to save their year.
Real quick, Jerron, is it somebody you think might be able to play this weekend?
Glover?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how he looks at the end of the week. He got a little bit of limited time yesterday.
And then obviously the turnovers. How have you seen Aiden use this bye week maybe to try and, it's just...
I know. Just to continue to tighten the detail, I do say some of these turnovers are 11-man football, but that has been a spot that has not obviously helped us in opportune times. And we're playing another good defense this week that we're going to need to be really good with the football.
The one thing that Illinois has struggled with is the pressure. What do you feel is different maybe? Is there anything different from you guys from the first 4 games up front? Is it maybe teams are getting a little better scout on your edge players? And I know we talked about how do you fix it, but what do the guys individually maybe have to do to kind of exact that pressure?
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, I think there is, we're putting things out on tape, so that's schematically, but also then the skill set of the players, and so that's out there, and you've got to always be evolving. I think it goes hand in hand with, some of the coverage piece, right? We want to be, coverage and pass rush go hand in hand together, so creating some pass rush, forcing the guy to hold the ball a little bit longer in the coverage, all of that goes together. And so we want to be able to create some, really just not always just flat out the sack, but getting the quarterback to play off time, uncomfortable being around him, force an errant throw, and that I go back to the coverage and pressure, pass rush goes hand in hand. Thanks, guys.